Hi, everybody, and welcome to another Kalicube Tuesdays. Today with Irina Poddubnaia, which I think I said correctly.
Yes,
I
you're
thought if
perfect.
I said it really quickly before just after the start, I'd get it right. A quick hello, and we're good to go. Welcome to the show, Irina Poddubnaia.
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right,
I could definitely make a ringtone of that. because
Brilliant, wonderful. Welcome. Today we're going to be talking to how to make 5 to 10% extra sales on Autopilot. I really like this idea because I think a lot of people are trying to fill the top of the funnel, trying to tighten up the bottom of the funnel. How many people think about the post funnel? And that's what we'll be talking about today. Is that about right?
Yeah, I would even argue that it's no longer a funnel. It's just this continuous process of a cycle. It's called a flywheel. That if you just reform your mindset about this, that your customers, once they buy from you once, it's not over. They can buy from you again. You get a well of new customers basically inside of your current list. That's it.
Right, brilliant. And we forget about it. I mean, when I talk to people talking about SEO, talking about getting on Google, it's all about getting the new clients in, the new people, pulling them down the funnel to convert. And I'm not actually sure why, when, as you say, increasing 5 to 10% your sales simply by talking to the clients that you already have. Before we get into that, quickly, the brand SERP, I looked up your name on Google, which is what I do for every guest, and that looks pretty good. I would imagine, or I might be completely wrong, is your name fairly unique?
Well, I don't think it is unique, but due to, I guess, the passports, like this spelling is not very common. So
Right.
yes, my name is unique. That's why I'm Googleable, I would say.
You're Googleable. That's a
Yes.
new adjective that we didn't have before. And next up is just something that we found this week. Elisa pointed this out to me. You can see here, this isn't your specialist subject, but we used to have those filter pills, or we have those filter pills that have now moved into the Google filters alongside news, images, videos, shopping, and so on and so forth. And that's really, really interesting. This is part of the knowledge panel when it's the filter pills that I've crossed out there. And at the top, it's becoming filters of search. When you click on those, if you look at the next one, I clicked on Twitter to have a look what it said. And as you can see, it's all the Jason Barnards on Twitter. And then towards the bottom there, the whole show, I disappear. So it's showing more Jason Barnards. So my ability to dominate my own brand SERP is going to be reduced if Google keep up with this. And the next one is a footballer. If you click on the football tab, you can see there's a famous footballer in South Africa, and I barely get a look in as soon as you add that word football. So that is where potentially knowledge panels are going to. This is more of a Google vertical brand SERP filter, and this is going to be super exciting for us in the future. And if you want to join us on the Facebook support group, if that kind of thing interests you, which it might, Irina, then join us on the Facebook support group, the search for Kalicube support group, and join us to learn all about knowledge panels. And right, yeah, and we want people to ask questions. If you're listening in and you've got anything you want to ask Irina, now is the time. And before we get going again, one more thing is the sponsors. If we could have that video up, WordLift, as always, sponsoring us, partnering with us rather, in the Kalicube Tuesday series. Every single episode has been produced in partnership with WordLift. Coming to the end of the third series, WordLift offer the artificial intelligence you need to grow your traffic. And today I've got super news, is the Kalicube Knowledge Panel course has been released. It was available since yesterday, December the 12th, 2022. Visit kalicube.com to find out more about that. If you're really geeky about knowledge panels, which I definitely am. Right, Irina, let's get on to the topic.
All right.
You're saying it's not post-funnel. I've always used the term post-funnel. What term can I use usefully to describe that post-funnel set of people who are clients, other than clients, obviously?
It is correct. The term itself is correct. What I'm saying is that it's just thinking in funnels. We're thinking in this finite state where the customers, they can actually reach a finite state in their customer journey. But in truth, if you have the customer contacts, you can still reactivate them and they can buy again. And then they are going to become your new customer, basically, from the same list. So the idea is that it's just like this cycle versus a funnel. That's what I was trying to communicate. But it's absolutely fine to call it a post funnel or shadow funnel even.
Right. No. I really like that, because simply saying the word funnel gives it that finite idea that you say. And in fact, we need to find a new term, because it's at the end of the funnel, they drop in, they become a client, and then they cycle round. Now, what's the process? Sorry, go ahead.
I think the HubSpot, they actually nailed the term. They created the term flywheel. This is a continuous, like the spinning thing, because like I cannot describe a flywheel using the word flywheel, right? So that's why I'm just trying, like the disc maybe that is continuously spinning, and your customers, they just continuously go through like the top of a funnel, new offer, then they go to the customer support and they buy again, and then they leave a review, and like it just keeps spinning. Because the more customers engage with your brand, and the more word, like the more they spread the word about your brand, the bigger this thing gets.
Right. And we've got two questions there, one of which is the flywheel, where people going round and round in this kind of rewash cycle. I think Amazon do that very well. And the other is the idea of becoming somebody who talks to their friends about your brand, who becomes a, what would you call it?
An ambassador, I guess.
An ambassador. Thank you very much. I always forget that word. So let's talk about the two, one after the other. First of all, is you've got somebody who's a client. And I seem to remember you were saying that you need to start reactivating them before they've even received their order.
Right. So when it comes to e-commerce process, sometimes there is a communication gap between when the customer actually clicks the buy button and when they receive a product. And this is a lost opportunity. Even when the brands are communicating, they sometimes just redirect their customers to UPS, FedEx, DHL, or other pages that have no mention which store is it coming from, or which brand is it coming from. This is an opportunity that we discovered as part of what TrackMage was. Like this is this hidden source of traffic, where people, when they visit the pages to actually find out the information about their order, they have the ability to see the brand, see the social media accounts, see additional products that the brand is selling, and they convert again. That's how you can get, just by introducing this simple page, that's how you can get those like 5 to 10% extra sales.
Right. Okay. So the idea is to say, well, I've got the UPS API, and I can actually integrate that into my site and get my client back into my site, back thinking about me and my products.
If you want to do it yourself, yes, that would be the idea. But if you use more than one carrier, and if there are multiple carriers that you're using for different destinations, and you want to also localize those pages into the customer's language, or if you want to show them additional products, you will have to implement a lot of stuff. Or you could use TrackMage.
A brilliant upsell. That was delightful. So the idea is to say, I have a client who's waiting for their order. They're checking on the delivery status. They come back in, and I can re-show them my brand. And that reminds me of the idea of brand search, where people think, well, once they're a client, it doesn't matter what they see when they search my name, because they search my name to navigate to the website. They come straight to the website. And in fact, I'm arguing everything on that SERP, the search engine results page for your brand name, even for customers, is super important. You need to keep them on board.
Yeah, it's very important for the customer to not forget your name. Because from my personal experience, when I'm shopping with certain funnels that were just set up like as a one-time opportunity to sell something, like I'm waiting for the package, and I know the number of the package, but I don't know which store is it coming from, what's in that package, and it's always a guessing game. And I don't know, and even if I have a problem with a package, I don't know which store to reach out to, because it's always like, okay, I'm receiving a package, but what is in it?
Right. Okay. And the emails that UPS or DHL or one of these other carriers is sending, do you intercept those, or do you replace those, or do they still get the emails from the carrier?
Well, actually, there are no standard emails from the carriers. The customer can go to the carrier website and they can request updates. That's just like a simple subscribe. But those updates, they are not informative, and they just literally inform the customer if there is a change in status. So what we've seen, for example, with UPS, they use two tracking numbers at the same time. One is just this like umbrella umbrella tracking number, and in that umbrella tracking number, there is a local tracking number. And they don't show you updates for the local tracking number. They just say like, okay, the umbrella tracking number is in transit. But when it gets stuck in customs, or if there is some kind of communication that you need to provide them with, like maybe your phone number was not specified to the UPS, you have to reach out to them. And you don't know even if you need to reach out to them because they don't show this information on their website. I'm not trying to critique UPS, but I'm just trying to showcase that there is a problem with how the carriers, they are treating the customers. And another problem that when the customer is looking at the carrier website, they don't even remember that they bought it from you. And they don't remember that they need to buy something else from you as well.
Which, if there's a problem with the carrier, then it's a good thing they don't remember they bought it from you. But I would imagine that one of the things is that people associate the carrier with the service, so then you end up getting a bad review if you don't hold their hand during that whole process. Is that something you've seen?
That's exactly where I wouldn't like 100% agree with your previous statement that it's good if they have a problem and they only have a carrier to contact. Maybe it's better if you were there and you could just point them in the right direction, because for customs purposes, for example, if a customer is asking to provide an invoice, you already have that information. Send them the invoice. We are going to help them, and they're going to remember that. And that's going to also influence the kind of review they're going to leave. So the more hand-holding you introduce in the process and like the closer you get to the customer, the better.
Right. And Anton's just shown us the UPS tracking number form, which I've seen more times than I care to remember and got confused with more times than I care to remember. And from that perspective, getting the flywheel going, that first order, you hold somebody's hand incredibly tightly and help them through this whole thing. You get that delightful flywheel going. How long does it take, generally speaking, once you've got somebody on board to get that repeat order going?
I'm going to share some incredible statistic. Is that
jolly good. I like numbers.
Yeah. The customers, so from what we've seen, so first of all, those emails that are related to the shipping status, they get opened in 60% of cases. Like that's the unheard of open rate for marketing emails, because they are not perceived as marketing. It's just an essential information for the customer. So what we've also seen is that customers, when they are actively waiting for the order, and this is something that they're passionate about or they literally are curious, they check the tracking page 1 or 2 times per day.
Yep,
Imagine getting every time like the question like, is it there yet? Is it there yet? Where is my order? Like the customer support questions, like that's a lot. When the customers visit those pages, like we literally look at them like 1 or 2 times per day, they place additional orders without even receiving the first package. They place those orders for like in 10% of cases. That's what we could track directly. Right now we are trying to improve our tracking. The tracking of our performance, the TrackMage performance, to show the indirect conversions, because sometimes customers, they don't go straight to the product page and buy the product, but they go to the store logo and they go to the store itself. And that's where we lose track. So potentially it's not even 5 or 10, it might be up to 20, something like that.
Right, okay. And from moving on from that point where we've got the client going around in circles, keeping buying, each time they come back, you do that same process. They become an incredibly, what's the word? I'm thinking in French now. Fidèle.
Indoctrinated, maybe.
Incredibly consistent client for you. And they
client for life, I would say. Yeah.
A client for life, okay. And then you keep holding their hand, but I would imagine over time you need to hold their hand less.
Yes, because we already understand what they should expect, and they already know how the system works. It's almost like with like in B2B space, where you explain to your potential wholesale or customer or somebody who is going to buy from you in bulk. First, you explain how to order from you. And once they know how to order from you, they do. They just continuously place those orders because it's already automated even on their side, and they get their people trained in it. But with like retail clients, it's also the same. Once I have the habit of ordering on Amazon, I know how to press the buttons on Amazon, right? So that's why consistency matters. If you train your customers to shop at your store, it's always going to be a positive experience for them.
Right. Okay. And Anton's just put up the number 28% of client retention. Is that a number you've seen in the past?
Well, the 28%, that just depends on how many interesting orders you. Yes, the average customer retention rate is like 28. I think it increases. It just depends, because I don't know which research that figure was taken from, and I always take figures that don't have any, I don't know, like they don't have any specifics behind them with a grain of salt. Because I don't know, like, is it an industry average? Is it from Malaysian market? Is it from which research is it from?
Yeah. Okay. But let's say we've got the 28% in some markets somewhere. You're saying that you can increase that to 33%, or are you saying that you can increase it by 5% of the 28%?
Well, I believe we haven't measured the statistic, and like it's hard to come up with an answer on the spot. So I would just refrain from giving you any figures because I don't know the exact figures. But I will definitely research that, and we will publish an article about that.
Ooh, right. And then you can tell us about it, and we'll share it with our audience too. And if we move on to the idea of becoming an ambassador, I mean, you're obviously working with this idea that I get the client on board, they become, as you say, trained in buying from me. How do I then switch them up to be an ambassador? Because buying from you is one thing. Talking to my friends about how wonderful you are is another.
Yes. The interesting part about that is that most of e-commerce stores, they just don't ask for reviews. And that's a big opportunity gap as well. Because when you start asking your customers for reviews, you can use those reviews for both purposes. To promote the brand, if a review is positive, and to troubleshoot your process and the customer experience altogether if a review is negative. And sometimes the negative reviews, they're even more valuable, because when you help the customer solve a problem or you react in a way that is notable, for example, with Lego, if the part is missing, they just simply send you the replacement without asking any additional questions. And that's why so many customers love Lego and their customer support. I hope not a lot of people abuse this system, but like, that's my only faint hope about that.
So, right. I've had an experience with a company called Thomann. They sell musical instruments, and you can order something, send it back within 30 days, and they will refund you or replace it. And I spent a year buying bass amplifiers, trying them out, and sending them back. And after about 4, I kind of said to them, "Isn't this kind of abusing the system?" He said, "No, we don't care. That's fine. That's part of the rule." And that makes me now talk about Thomann. So they've actually made me into an ambassador, because I'm saying it's so great. I could buy 4 different amplifiers and then send the ones I didn't want back. So Thomann, big thumbs up to them. Lego, same thing.
Yes. And it's also important that reviews, they can be leveraged as the business growth tactic. Because when you ask the customers to leave a review, then you can ask them to share those reviews on social media. This is the best pro ever, because this is basically free advertisement for your business. And it's not just about them sharing it to their close friends, but maybe just on social media, that you can get the user-generated content and then spin it up and you reuse it in your marketing. So with reviews, you can like use them in various ways. And this is how sometimes even not very passionate ambassadors, they become ambassadors based on the definition. They don't they spread the word about your brand and they advocate for the brand.
Right. Okay. So from your perspective, we've got reviews. I mean, I tend to look at reviews as being this way to help educate Google. It adds lots of different attributes and ideas and needs and wants that people have for products and services. Then you've also got what Anton just had up was 72% of people will leave a review if they're asked to do so. Up to 72%, I've seen very low percentages. What's the trick to asking a question or asking for a review when you send out that email?
Well, I guess in case of TrackMage, we figured two tricks. The first one would be asking for a review at the right time.
Right.
Since we understand where the package is, and when the package gets delivered, we can time that email and send it automatically once the customer actually holds the product in their hands. I have seen so many email automations firing up before I receive a product. So like I'm asked to leave a review and I receive that product in 2 weeks from the time. I already forgot that there was a review ask. But like since I'm in this industry, like I keep track. But anyways, it's besides the point. So first, timing it correctly. So when the customer actually is excited to receive their package and like their new T-shirt or their shiny new tablet that they want to showcase, that's when you ask for a review at their height. And then also wording it in a way like, did everything go well? That's what we have in our default template. So like, did everything go well? Do you have any questions maybe? And then the customer is like, yes, everything went well. Like, that's what happened with one of our biggest customers by now. They have a YouTube channel and they create this animated series called Metal Family. And they have 3 million subscribers roughly right now. So from 10,000 comic books that they sent out, once TrackMage was introduced, from 0, they had 2,150 reviews. Predominantly positive, because everyone loves the brand, and that's why they were not even paying attention if there were some problems with the shipping or whatever.
Right, yeah, and that thing about the absolute perfect time to ask for a review. If you ask too early, they haven't got the product or they haven't finished doing what they were doing. If it's a service, then you ask too early and they're frustrated because they haven't got what they wanted or to where they wanted to be. If you ask too late, they've forgotten. Getting that exact right moment to ask is absolutely essential. And then the other one is asking the right question. I mean, I had clients who said, who were asking, did you like your order? And the answer would then be yes. So the review would just say yes. And that's a huge mistake. How do you get around that? How do you encourage people to actually write details about their overall experience?
So we word the questions in open-ended questions where you cannot reply yes or no. So literally, like, how did you like your experience? That actually makes me curious. Like, what did we have there? Because I don't remember exactly what questions we had. But we definitely get reviews. At some point, we were even running into an issue that the review failed. Had the character limit, and we were losing parts of the reviews. So customers, they are very elaborate sometimes when they describe their experience, and if it's a passion product that they are buying, they definitely go overboard. And if we had that functionality at that point, we would have gotten the media as well. Like videos and photos. That's why the social sharing feature that I'm talking about, that's not yet released, wait a bit, working on it. So this is going to have the photos and videos about the product. If a customer had great experience, they can record a video and then post it on TikTok. You get extra sales, like just based on that review.
And from that aspect, it's making sure that for the user, the client, the video or the photo is really easy to record. So there's an interface for that, rather than saying to them, record yourself and send it in. Or do you just say to people, record it on your phone?
I think the best would be to just record it on the phone. So it's not a mobile app. It's working in the browser. But once we have a file, they can just attach it, and it's going to work. So that's how it works. So
okay, well, sorry, I mean, I saw a really good thing from Clutch.co, but it's obviously kind of not e-commerce, it's B2B. And what they're doing is saying, book a call with us, we'll do an interview with you, and then we'll write up your review. And then, as you were saying, they write up these enormous long reviews. You then check it, correct it, and they publish it. And that was a really neat idea for B2B, at least, not for B2C, I wouldn't have thought.
Yes, I believe that costs a lot of money to sustain that as an ongoing service. So that's why in B2B, it definitely makes sense. Like, I believe with the power of AI, we could definitely do something about that. So maybe there is some kind of like virtual assistant who's going to talk like a chatbot fashion, like, oh, did you like your product? Like, what went well, what didn't go well, something like that. And this way it could be leveraged somehow. I guess with VR, with our fancy new tech, we could do something crazy. But that's yet to come. We haven't tested yet.
No, and other than kind of reviews, getting people to be advocates, what other techniques can we use to push that advocacy idea?
Well, I believe, I don't have anything else to share about what you could do, but just from my experience, just having a strong brand presence and building the emotional connection with the buyer, that's exactly what you need to do. Because if a customer, like for example, with your case, if a customer has a great experience and they are even fascinated by how you do business and they support your cause, because a lot of brands, they also have some social causes behind them, something like supporting like reforestation of
Right.
Amazon River or something else, that also creates this brand loyalty, where the customer is not only supporting that brand because they want the product that is being sold, but they also support the actual idea behind that brand. So building a community, building a strong cause, so having something besides the product itself.
Right. Yeah, no, what's lovely, and that's a really lovely way to end this, is talking about brand. Pretty much everybody we have on the show at some point mentions brand. And from our perspective at Kalicube, obviously we deal with what your audience sees when they Google your brand name. And the idea of building a great brand and a strong brand is that people would end up searching that name. So for me, that's perfect because it's my favorite topic in the entire universe. Thank you so much, Irina. That was delightful. We got onto reviews, which I was terribly interested in as well, but also getting that cycle going, the post-funnel cycle, which I'll have to find a new term for, to get those clients buying again and again and again. And next week, we've got Dmitrii Kustov, data-driven approach to SEO. That should be super interesting. He's super smart and incredibly friendly and smiley. And I wanted to just quickly announce that we've released the Knowledge Panel course. It's been a year in the making. It's ready. It's released. Please visit kalicube.com to find out more about that. If you're a Knowledge Panel geek and you want to know everything about Google's Knowledge Graph, how it works, Google's Knowledge Panels, how to get one, how to manage one, how to make one incredibly rich, please pass the baton, Irina.
Okay, great. So Dmitrii, welcome to Kalicube. And I think that your topic is really interesting because data-driven approaches usually tend to be very, very accurate and also less costly. So, and also, like I have some experience in SEO for my own company, and it's very hard to make good decisions. So I hope you can share some interesting advice how to make good decisions based on data.
Brilliant. And the nice thing about SEO is it's becoming more and more of a marketing approach rather than a pure technical approach from the dev perspective. I'm getting totally lost in what I was going to say. Thank you again, Irina. That was absolutely delightful. Thank you, Anton. Thank you, everybody, for watching. A quick goodbye to end the show. Thank you, Irina.
Thank you.
Kalicube. It's all about your brand SERP.